shoes. Everything she says is truth. If you don't know now, you know. All you ever gotta say is heard that, heard that, heard that, heard that, heard that. Look, all you ever gotta say.
What's up, Heard That Nation? Listening in the United States and around the world, you are now listening to the Heard That with Marisa podcast. If you're watching right now on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you stay in the know of every single guest and every single new episode that drops right here on this channel. I am glad to be back. It is December. I haven't been recording a full episode in a minute. I've been doing short clips. Your girl's been busy. Besides doing short clips for the show, I've been on other shows, other podcasts. Those that have subscribed and has joined me on this journey, I've also am a sports correspondent for the Kenny Burns Show, along with my partner in crime, Monty Moss, who is an amazing talent out of New Jersey, now Rhode Island. And it's been a journey. Plus, I have a life outside of this. I'm a whole wife for almost 13 years with an amazing husband that's been rocking with me for this length of time, and all my crazy dreams and aspirations that I want to do on this podcasting media world, as well as, just holding it down with a couple of jobs and, wanting to make this continue to be not just a dream, but a reality of what I want to do for real life. So those that are watching right now on YouTube, do not be frightened. Your girl does not have any makeup on. I had a amazing facial done. I did do my hair for y'all. So, rocking the amazing curls, and they just fresh from the salon. Shout out to Salon Inks here in Richardson, Texas. But yeah, I got a facial done. Skin is glowing. We're trying to make it glow. I mean, I'm VIP and AARP. So, gotta do what we can to continue the fountain of youth and making my skin glow as much as possible. So good to be with y'all. Good to be back. Good to have an amazing tribe that just supports you. Like I said, my husband, I got some amazing friends that are here. We went out the other night to a comedy show in Arlington, and we got to see the headliner, Affion Crockett, and he's a world of talent. I enjoyed watching him when he was on Wild and Out, the show with Nick Cannon, and just a hilarious sketch comedy that they do and everything. And he is absolutely hilarious. He was at the Improv for a few days. We got to see him. I was with my good friends, my good tribe, and I'm grateful for them because it's been just some long weeks, some long months. So this is, talking to everybody that has listened and has supported me, and new people that have come through and, subscribed and, on the podcast and all streaming platforms, as well as YouTube. And the feedback that I get is like, when are you coming back with new episodes? When are we going to see some guests? Where, are you all right? I appreciate everybody checking on your girl, because it's been so busy, exhausting. I got a life outside of this. I got, obligations that I got to take care of, as well as, like I said, pursuing my passions here, which is, podcasting, talking to everybody that, hit that click and that like and that share. And I appreciate it because this is what I love to do. This is an opportunity that I was given by Kenny Burns and his team to do what I do there, as well as another podcast show that I'm on, Death, Taxes, and Sports Podcast. I appreciate those guys. Shout out to Ben, Gary, and Jeff. And I love talking about sports. I love talking about pop culture. I love talking about entertainment. This is, this is my heart. This is what I love to do. And so, I appreciate everyone that has, checked on me and, made sure that I was good. And so I'm very grateful for you, very thankful for the following, but the people that I have in my inner circle, that means a whole lot to me. So thank you very much. So I'm rocking the Victory Monday shirt because the Lions are good. They're 9-3. To say that in a sentence in every single week, and them having me on the edge of the seat, the way that they handled the Saints the other day, should I say, was absolutely impressive. I thought that they, in a way, they were going to give it away. But this Lions team is resilient. What Dan Campbell has done with this team is absolutely incredible. I cannot believe how fast the NFL season is going. We're down to I believe 4 games left for these teams at the end of the season. And then it's winding down to now teams that are being eliminated, or those that are in the wild card, or those that are in the hunt. The Detroit Lions has just truly impressed me. through everything. And I can, and literally everything. This is something that the Lions fans, us diehard fans, have been waiting on for a team to turn around, for the Rolodex of coaches that we have gone through, the Rolodex of players that we have gone through, the key pieces that we needed on defense and offense, a quarterback that continually makes improvements, still has his issues, still has his mistakes, the turnovers, the interceptions. He still, though, continuously starts putting things together. The running game of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams, who had an outstanding run for a score against the Saints on Sunday afternoon. In the defense, starting to, I wanted to say consistently click, but sometimes you just get your heart racing out of your chest, especially if you're a Lions fan, because you're going, okay, this is too good to be true. Like at one point they were up 21-0, and then then it was 21-7, and then the second half starts, and then the Saints are starting to cook, and you're like, oh my God, okay, the defense is going to let us down again. And then just somehow just the wizardry, the mastery of Dan Campbell and this coaching team, they just start to put plays together, and you just get it, and this team gets held accountable for ridiculous losses, the latest one being from the Green Bay Packers, which, by the way, I gotta give them credit for what they are doing. Sunday night, them upsetting the Chiefs, no one saw that coming except they did. Jordan Love, this young team, they're the youngest team in the NFL, starting to cook, and in the conversation of them being a postseason team, and they're starting to look good. And for someone that is a Lions fan, and you got Green Bay in the same division, NFC North, you don't want that to happen, but you do. You want to play the best. In order for you to be the best, you gotta compete against the best and beat the best. Rashawn Gary, go blue. He from recovering from injuries. Again, I had talked about this on another show, how he had 3 sacks against us on Thanksgiving, and our Thanksgiving woes continue with 7 straight losses. And they're just starting to make noise in the NFC North, and so they're starting to cook as well. And then you got the Vikings that still have a chance to be in it. The Lions haven't played them yet. They still have to play them twice. The Lions have the Bears this weekend coming up, and I believe they're on the road at Minnesota is the next game. So you're seeing a lot of these NFL teams in from this weekend, from Monday night, which we'll dive into in a moment. When you think that there is a front runner, it just takes you off by surprise of, a team. Like I said, the Packers upsetting the Chiefs, and the 49ers the other night just dismantling the Philadelphia Eagles at Philly. And that was just completely one-sided. We'll get into that one for a moment. But I want to start with this. I'm trying to say this without getting upset. And I had a rant the other night, those that joined me on Instagram Live the other night. But in order for a team to be rewarded for an opportunity to get or win a championship, an opportunity to get a spot in a Premier Bowl, and to have that attention drawn on them, or something that their school has not done in a long time, you have to have an incredible season and a credible team, and pretty much be dang near perfect, if not perfect, to have that opportunity to go for, we're talking about college football here, for a national championship, right? So college football regular season has concluded. The championship games were this past weekend, and those have concluded. And so now you look at Sunday afternoon, Sunday night comes the selection show, college football selection show, where you have all of these big wigs that are in the room, where they decide which 4 teams are the best 4 teams to have a chance at a national championship in early 2024 in January. So Michigan wins their game against Iowa in the Big Ten championship. They're in. Washington wins their game against Oregon. They're in. Texas won their game huge over Oregon State. They're in. So it leaves number 1 Georgia playing a number 8 Alabama for the SEC championship. And Alabama controlled that game. It was a back and forth battle, but Alabama controlled that game, ended up upsetting the number 1 team, Georgia. Okay, number 8, sitting at number 8. Florida State, sitting at number 4, plays Louisville in their game. So their starting quarterback has been out several weeks. He's out for the season. Jordan Travis broke his leg. Unfortunate situation. Goes to QB2. QB2, and they go and they play against Florida. Somehow he gets injured in that game. So this game in the ACC conference, they play Louisville. Ugly game. Little back and forth. It was close for the longest time. And then in the fourth quarter, Louisville makes a couple of silly plays. Florida State capitalizes on it. Then Florida State ends up pulling away and winning. They remain undefeated. So you got Michigan in, you got Washington in, you got Texas sitting at number 3. So surely, of all the, of everything that Florida State, the boxes that they checked, they should be in, right? Wrong. They dropped to number 5. The number 4 spot goes to Alabama. Alabama jumps from number 8 to number 4 after beating then number 1 Georgia. Georgia falls from number 1 to number 6. So they had 29 consecutive wins. It ended when Alabama upset them in the SEC championship. To see the heartbreak on each of the players' faces, Coach Norvell, who again did an outstanding job in the coaching staff with this team, in disbelief and shock. And this is the last year that is the college football playoff 4 teams, because it goes to 12 next year. I took a couple of things away from this. One, it's unfair for Florida State. Absolutely unfair for Florida State. And if you want to go back to 2016, when there was a team called Ohio State University, JT Barrett was the starting quarterback. He gets injured, so who is the backup? Cardale Jones. Cardale Jones comes in and plays a full game in the Big Ten championship against Wisconsin, who had won the Big Ten West. So Big Ten East, Ohio State wins that. Cardale Jones goes in, and literally the game was over before halftime because Ohio State put the thump on them for 59-0. College Football Committee puts them in. The way that they handled Wisconsin, many had projected at that time that it'd probably be a close game. It wasn't even close. All cylinders, they cooked. It was, just a landslide, and Ohio State ended up winning, which would be the college football playoff and then the national championship that year when it was first introduced, the college football playoff system. Okay. So going back to Florida State, dropping from 4 to 5, Alabama coming up from 8 to 4. So what this told me, and listening to the College Football Committee Chairman Boo Corrigan, I mean, there's a clue right there in his name, Boo, is that the way he was explaining it, and Reese Davis from ESPN did a really great job, I feel, with asking the questions of why and what came to their decision of deciding Alabama was that squad to go in ahead of Florida State. And you can throw facts, and you can throw figures, you can throw strength of schedule at me, you can throw, where their RPI is, and, the index, and all, you can throw all of that stuff at me, whatever, because there's people that are really great with numbers and all of that, and where they rank at as far as a team and how they controlled certain games and how they blew out opponents certain games, and then their conference championship, how Alabama, outgained Georgia yardage and points, and then how Florida State and Louisville kept it close, but Florida State found a way in the fourth quarter and pulled out the win. So he's explaining this to ESPN's Reese Davis and saying that the dynamic of Florida State changed when Jordan Travis broke his leg and got injured, because Jordan Travis was having an outstanding year, literally was Heisman front runner, and talked about weeks at a time on so many of the networks and how Florida State is the real deal, and he led the charge and all of that. Then he breaks his leg, out for the season. So they have to go with a backup quarterback. They play Florida. They kept it close. Florida, I mean, their defense has not been the greatest. Their offense, the whole dynamic of the team has not been the greatest. But Florida State did, it was closer than expected, than predicted, because they expected Florida State to blow this team out. Then the Jordan Travis injury happened. Then they put in QB2. And then it was closer than expected, but they still ended up winning, right? So all of that transpires, all of that happens. So it boils down to, again, that he gets injured, the dynamic of the team changes, and so the committee feels that Florida State should not be in the top 4 because of a QB that got injured. It's not going to be the same Florida State team. So from that point, from that statement he made, I was like, so it's the QB's fault that he got injured. So you might as well blame the offense because they didn't protect him in the pocket, and he ended up getting this, horrific injury, and then, got carted off, and then the whole thing changes. So the thing that really broke my heart is after that was revealed and them showing that they dropped to 5, Alabama goes to 4, Michigan and Alabama will play in the Rose Bowl, is that Jordan Travis goes on social media and says that he had wished he had broke his leg sooner so that everybody could see how truly talented this Florida State team is. And he regrettably felt sorry for the fact that they were not selected in the number 4 spot for a chance to play for the national championship. No person should have to do that. No person should have to go on social media and apologize to his teammates, to the coaches, to the Florida State fan base because he got hurt. But this was not the same energy that was in 2016 when Cardale Jones came in for our injured JT Barrett. Oh, it's because it's the fashion of the way that they beat their opponent. College football has become a business. It's a cash cow. And Stephen A. Smith, I was seeing the First Take the other day, and he truly agrees that the committee got it right with Alabama being in there and Florida State dropping to 5 because of, what I just said. But he made an interesting point, and this is some food for thought. If Coach Prime had led the Colorado Buffaloes to an undefeated season, and they played in their conference championship against, we'll say, Colorado State, and it was a back and forth, and they didn't win in the fashion as a 2017 Ohio State did, 2016, 2017 Ohio State did against Wisconsin. But they would put him in. Why? The popularity, the brand, who he is, what's going to draw viewers, what's going to make viewers interested, the money. I mean, let's be 100% clear. That's what it is at the end of the day. And my husband and I had a really, really big discussion about this because when he had watched the rankings come out, he said, Marisa, there should be no controversy happening when it comes to the 4 teams that should be in there: Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Florida State. And I said to him, Tim, I bet you they're going to do something and just flip this, and Ohio State's going to be in the number 4 spot. He said, you're crazy. There's no way it's going to happen. It happened. And when I tell you that the passion came out of that man, like literally, like he was the one that just got gypped off. Now, mind you, he is a Ohio State fan, and I've said this many times on the show. But he felt like he was a Florida State fan that was getting ripped off because of the fact of what happened to them. And so I like the questions after, course, Coach Norville had to get everybody and regroup all the team and everything else. They're disappointed. They're upset. But at the end of the day, you know what they have to do? They have to channel in their anger and them being frustrated and prove a point in the Orange Bowl against Georgia. Georgia is reeling from an embarrassing loss against Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. And so they're dealing with that and channeling their energy to go against a really pissed off, upset, angry Florida State that knew that it should have been in the top 4. And I really, it's going to be interesting to see all that. But I hope that, Florida State just comes out and shows out as they should. But the College Football Committee, they got to figure this out. This concerns me, and this is my last point. I'm going to move on. It concerns me when they go into the top 12 next year, because I was looking on X, and I also saw it on Facebook as well as Instagram. What would of the 12-team playoff would have looked like? And another interesting one, and I'll throw this in there too, was, and I thought it was a joke at first, but it isn't. It's Liberty is facing Oregon in the Verbo Citrus Bowl. And I'm like, Liberty? And I did not know until that moment Liberty is undefeated. We've been so focused on Michigan and Washington and Florida State. Here's Liberty just right into the top 25 mix, like, hello. And of course, they don't get the accolades and the shine because, strength of schedule and everything else. But Liberty is 12-0 going against a 10-2 Oregon team, 2 losses to Washington. And people have already made their assessment that they are going to get manhandled by Oregon. And I'm like, you know what? Liberty just needs to go in there and play like they have nothing to lose. And I hope that they surprise a lot of people. And it's going to be a fun bowl season. Bowl season resumes in a week. Cannot believe it's going to be a week coming up where bowl season is going to start. But yeah, I feel for Florida State, but I like that Coach Norville was like, you know what? I'm going to answer this one question one time because he was talking to the media about how did the team feel? How did he feel? And Florida State, the university and the athletics department and Coach Norville released statements explaining their disappointment, but they said this is the one time we're going to get upset about it, and then we're moving on and we're focusing on the Orange Bowl. And those guys, I know that they're upset, but take your upset, your frustrations, your anger, and take it out on the field in the Orange Bowl. And, let's see, let's prove, like you prove to yourself that you are a worthy opponent and you end up undefeated by the end of the season. But Georgia is a tough team, and it's going to be fun to watch both of these teams play in this bowl. So College Football Committee got to get it together. It's just quite disappointing. It's just very disappointing, not surprised, but surprise. Another surprise that happened over the weekend was the Philadelphia Eagles leaving the door slightly ajar in the NFC East. Never ever did I think that they would lose as badly as they did to the 49ers, 42-19. It's the largest loss in Jalen Hurts' career. It will look like for a moment that Jalen Hurts, when he got hit really hard by the Niners defense, who was just playing lights out. I thought that he got a concussion. He cleared concussion protocol and came back, but it really didn't make a difference because the Niners scored 2 more times when he came back. This has got Dallas fans and Dallas Cowboys just ready to strike because the next game is in Dallas. Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys Sunday Night Football. And that is going to be the primetime game. Dallas is sitting at 9-3 right now. Philly's sitting at 10-2 in the NFC East. This is going to be interesting. The Eagles has got that game, and then they're at the Seahawks, and then against the Giants and against the Cardinals. Week 14 showed me that these teams you thought were out of it are playing like they don't have anything to lose. There's teams still in the hunt. There's teams that are like sitting in the wild card position. Just when, the Eagles thought that they were safe and they had the NFC East locked up, here come the Niners. Now, all of a sudden, after they got out of their 3-game slump, and Brock Purdy turning it around in this offense, and Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, it just playing out of their mind. The defense just swarming all over Jalen Hurts. Wherever he tried to make a play, tried to throw the ball, they were all on top of him. And to do this in Philadelphia, the way it was, just a one-sided game, losing by 23 at home. They need to figure it out quick going into a very hostile Arlington at the AT&T Stadium, Dallas Cowboys environment, because they're not going to let up. Cowboys are favored in this game, 4.5. They are favored in this game. Dak Prescott, who I don't think the last several weeks has been getting a lot of credit. And again, the 3 losses are legit. But you got to look at you have to look at Dak's performance the last several weeks. And again, he doesn't get enough credit for what he has done in the plays he's made. He's proven to people that he can run. He's proven to people that he can throw. The concern was that he can't throw and that he has to rely on the run game. He has to, rely on his receivers to make plays. And Deron Bland playing out of his mind. I mean, hello, let's give credit where credit is due. And then you got Tony Pollard and just the talent that is on that offense and the adjustments that have been made on the defense because Trayvon Diggs being out for the season and what they have done with that whole entire formula of going against tougher opponents like the Giants and the Giants aren't that tough, but they've been trying to figure it out. But like Philadelphia, like the Niners, this is going to be a really good game Sunday night to see how much of an impact that the Philadelphia Eagles getting their tails kicked at home, how much they're going to recover from that and try to tap into their I would say their energy, but they're going to need it for sure into this Dallas Cowboys environment. It's going to be needed. They're going to have to figure it out. The pass rush was horrendous. Good night. If they had the pass rush that had issues like they did with the Niners against the Cowboys, it's a wrap. It's a wrap in the NFC East. And people that, have doubted this Cowboys team, except the Cowboys team is going to lose it on the 30th against my Lions. I said it. Hello. But if they don't figure out the pass rush and fix these issues, it's going to be, it's a wrap. Like Dallas will literally kick the door in the NFC East. Another shocking shakeup is in the AFC South with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Monday Night Football. Jake Browning, who's in for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is out for the season, had wrist surgery, so he is out. So he was in at Jacksonville. Jacksonville heavily favored. And the Bengals just stayed with them all the way through, just, score per score. And I was just really impressed on how they were playing. You look at this team and you're like, how in the world are they a 5-6 team? And they was making adjustments all the way through. And the unfortunate thing that happened is Trevor Lawrence got hurt. And he got rolled up on his ankle. I couldn't tell if it was like a defender, if his own guy, or if it was a defender. But immediately when he went down, he took his helmet off and he threw it. He immediately knew something was wrong. And then he tried to get up and tried to walk on it, and it was just to no avail. And then reports did come out that it was a high ankle sprain. He could be missing some time. They don't know if it's season ending, but they're taking it day by day. And CJ Beathard came in, and that was nerve-wracking in itself because CJ Beathard, the first play, the ball pops out in his hand, and he goes down on his literally shoulder or wrist, and then he got up holding his wrist. So I'm like going, oh my gosh, this is going from bad to worse. And just an incredible turnaround of events for Jake Browning and this team, keeping it close. And now this loss that the Jacksonville Jaguars had, and then you losing your quarterback. Hello, and now brings back into the chat the Texans, who are 7-5, and the Colts, who are 7-5. Yes, the Colts. The Colts led by Gardner Minshew II. Oh, sorry, Gardner Minshew III. Sorry, no disrespect to his dad. Now they are in the hunt. So the Jacksonville's got to figure out what's going to happen next. Obviously they got C.J. Beathard. They're going to have to work around, with their talent and figure out something quick because right there in the wings. This Texans team is absolutely amazing. I said on another show that it's a two-man race for Coach of the Year. Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, and DeMeco Ryans for the Houston Texans. First year QB and C.J. Stroud, who's Rookie of the Year. I mean, literally running away with it, sitting at 7-5 right now. They go to New York and they play the Jets next, and then the Colts play the Bengals. Just absolutely incredible what this team has done. People thought the Texans were going to have that same kind of, they're going to figure it out. This is a new coach. This is a new QB. They possibly may win 2 to 3 games. Kind of the similar situation, unfortunately, with the Carolina Panthers, who, dismissed head coach Frank Reich and 2 other coaches because they're sitting at 1-11 right now. So they thought the Texans was going to have that same kind of energy and everything else. And I had said that C.J. Stroud is one of those quarterbacks that is going to be completely different. I know that Ohio State has had a talented bunch of quarterbacks in Ohio State until they get to the next level. And basically either they had to change positions from QB to wide receiver, or, they find themselves as backup and then they just literally go into the night and, don't hear from him again. Justin Fields was on injury. He was injured for a few weeks. He literally put a scare in the Detroit Lions several weeks ago until Detroit Lions came back and won that game. Detroit Lions head to Chicago this weekend coming up. And so, he's trying to, figure out his groove. And I think that their coach in Chicago is a whole different talk show, a whole different story. I just don't think that he's going to be there next year because they're already looking for replacements for him already. But C.J. Stroud is one of those quarterbacks that understands the game, and he was going to be at a different caliber. And you look at the talent that he had at, Ohio State, and then coming into the NFL, and then connecting with Coach Ryans, and then working together, and then them winning. And people were like, all right, they got a couple of wins, but when they kept winning, and they did have their losses, they had their close losses. That 7-5 record is something special from where they were at a season or 2 ago. And this Texans team is buying all into Coach Ryans and what he has done for this team. Do not be surprised if they make the postseason. But like I said, it's a 2-man race of Coach of the Year. C.J. Stroud, I mean, literally just hand him the the Rookie of the Year award, because that's already a done deal. They're an incredible team to watch. And so going into this week 14 is going to be a lot of these teams, like I said, and I'll end it with this, where people thought that they had no shot, that they were done for, and they're in the hunt, and they're turning it around. The Packers, the Colts, the Texans, Vikings are still in the mix, to name a few of these teams. The Seahawks, just some of these teams that, are still trying to get a shot to get into the postseason. But, my Lions continue to do what they do. We're going to celebrate like 1996. First time we're 9-3 since 1962, by the way. And I absolutely love it. And I just want them to continue to win. And here's the thing. I will end on this. Ladies and gentlemen, I heard that nation. And I know some of y'all gonna be laughing at the next thing that I say, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm good with it. If my boys end up going to the Super Bowl, y'all listen, it's gonna be the biggest crowd fund. I'm gonna need all the support that I can get, nation. I really am gonna need everybody to help your girl out, because I need that ticket to Las Vegas. I mean, when we're one of 4 teams, one of 5 teams, I think it's 4 or 5 teams that have never experienced what a Super Bowl is. Detroit has hosted one, but never experienced one. So I'm gonna need all the support that I can get. Get your girl there to enjoy the moment. I know Usher is the halftime show, and that's absolutely amazing. That's outstanding. But I'm gonna need, my ticket. I'm gonna need a flight. Your girl needs to stay somewhere that's, reasonable. I can Uber everywhere. That's fine. She's got to be fed, and of course, she's got to get the merch. That's what needs to happen. So I'm putting it out there because I am a person that's a dreamer. I'm a doer. I'm a believer. So I'm putting it out there, and y'all can keep this clip. Keep it close to your hearts. Like she said, this amazement on there, because the Lions fans will back me up. Or she said this foolishness on there, and I'm gonna rub it in her face when her Lions, fall flat in her face, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. I mean, we're used to this, and we've been used to this for so long since the curse of Bobby Laney in 1957. And then I appreciate Jeff Daniels and Peyton Manning going on Peyton's places and reversing the curse, because it's paying off. Sitting at 9-3, first in the NFC North, Kings of the North right now. So we'll see how it goes. But thank you for joining me, and I appreciate everybody's support. Like I said, resuming year 3, we got a lot of great guests that are going to be coming up, a lot of amazing episodes that are going to be happening. I will be doing some live shows. I cannot wait. It's going to be absolutely amazing for me, because that's what I love to do. I love to interact with fans. I love to interact with people. Got some awesome events that are going to be happening, so definitely going to share those with you. And I love the ideas that I get, and I love the follows. Follow me on heardthatwithmarisa.com, as well as on Facebook. I'm at Heard That with Marisa Tigney, on X, lovely Marisa T, and of course on the Insta on Marisa Tigney podcast, Marisa_Tigney_ podcast. Threads, I'm on there every so often. I'm trying to get used to it. So the same exact name, Marisa_Tigney_ podcast, as well as TikTok, because for some reason these TikTok videos have just suckered me in. So I'm on the TikTok as well. Heard That with Marisa Tigney. So thank you so much for supporting me and joining me. It's going to be an amazing year. And you got any ideas, drop them to me. I love hearing y'all's ideas and different things that you say about my teams. We don't want to talk about the Pistons. We're going to leave that one alone. They're going to have to figure it out for themselves. But I appreciate everybody joining me. And as I always end the show, please take care and stay safe. I'm out of here.